Hi everyone, I'm Sam, an OpenSciEd teacher and facilitator. If you've been wondering how to move from the patient's injury to the actual mechanics of the body without it feeling like a boring anatomy lecture, this is your video. We're going to walk through lesson 2. I'll show you how to bridge the gap between a chicken wing investigation and your student's own body. So let's dive in. To ground ourselves, let's look at where we've been. During lesson 1, we figured out a student was injured and couldn't walk because multiple parts of their foot, like the skin, bone, and muscle, were damaged at the same time. These injuries created physical gaps between the parts in the foot, which eventually healed, though some parts took much longer than others. Now, we need to answer our lesson 2 question. What do our bones, skin, and muscle do for us? We are moving from observing the injury to investigating how these parts actually work together to make movement happen. Let's take a look at a lesson at a glance to see how we'll get our students here. This is a 2-day investigation with about 30 minutes of prep time. There is a chicken wing dissection, but it's not hands-on as written, unless you would like to make it hands-on. There are 2 student-facing videos that you will need to show your students if you teach the lesson as written: the intact wing investigation and the injured chicken wing investigation. Both of these videos can be found on the OpenSciEd website and in your downloaded materials. I've broken the 9 parts of this lesson into 3 student-driven loops. Let's take a deeper dive into these loops. This is loop 1. It is the beginning of day 1. We start with a navigation to observe our own movement of skin, bones, and muscle in our own bodies. Then we investigate by watching a dissection video of a chicken wing to see what is actually inside of a limb. We figure out that we can see the specific parts and how they work together to make the wing move. But this makes us wonder, how is the chicken wing related to the boy's foot? Why are we actually doing this? This brings us to loop 2. Loop 2 finishes out day 1 and starts day 2. We map the chicken wing structures to the foot model and build a poster of parts. We figure out that these parts are physically attached to each other. When a muscle is pulled, the bone moves. And this makes us wonder, if this is how a healthy system moves, how would an injury change things? This brings us to loop 3, which completes day 2. We observe an injured chicken wing and hold a building understanding discussion. We figure out that if one structure is damaged, the whole system fails. And this makes us wonder how a doctor sees these parts in a living person. By the end of these loops, our students have reached 3 big conclusions. Skin, muscle, and bones are all physically attached. Muscle pulls on bones to create movement, and an injury to one part prevents the entire system from functioning. And again, we're left wondering, how could looking more closely at these different parts of the body help us to figure out more about how they work together? Now let's take a look at key moments in the sense-making that you won't want to miss. The first key moment happens in parts 3 and 4, where you map the chicken wing to the foot and start the poster of the structures in the body. I lump parts 3 and 4 together because this is where the students realize the chicken wing is a model for the human foot. Part 3 helps the students to see that the chicken wing is not just a random lab, but a model for the human foot. In part 4, you'll create the poster of parts in the body. This is where you anchor the words structure and function, helping the students to see that a structure's shape allows it to perform. The function is what makes the science click. This poster isn't a one and done, and you'll return to it all unit long. So make sure you keep a nice copy of this. Key moment 2 happens on day 2 during the building understandings discussion. Part 8 is the heart of this lesson. To help them make sense of this, make connections back to the thermal energy unit. Just like in that unit, students needed to see how different parts must interact for a system to function. You will also add to the poster that we started during part 4. During this discussion, have your images of the skin, bones, and muscles ready to tape onto the poster. This is where you explicitly connect how the way a part is made, structure, relates to its job, function. Key moment 3 is our progress tracker, which happens in part 9. The progress tracker in part 9 is a vital moment for synthesis. Your students use a different format than they're used to in OpenSciEd. We have the question and what we figured out in words and pictures, but most importantly, we added what this makes me think or wonder about healing. That last column is key. It moves them from just describing the chicken wing to thinking about the patient's recovery. It forces them to realize that moving is one thing, but fixing a gap is another. This is the bridge that leads them directly into our next lesson. Now on to some materials management tips and tricks. Let's talk logistics to keep your lab running smoothly. You have a choice. You can go virtual or live. The OpenSciEd videos are great, and the lesson is written to use the videos. However, if you choose to go live, make sure you buy wings with the skin on so you can show that crucial connection between the skin and muscle. If you're doing a live dissection, be aware that carefully removing the skin without damaging the muscle tissue is delicate work. It can be time-consuming and may extend your investigation by about 20 minutes. So plan accordingly and maybe try on your own before doing it with your students. In part 6, the lesson calls for breaking the bone to simulate injury. Some teachers have reported that students can have a hard time with this part. So gauge your students' comfort level and be prepared to handle that moment with sensitivity. This brings us to part 8, the Our Bodies as a System poster. Check out the Lesson 2 teacher reference for great info on building this, because this poster is built incrementally throughout the unit. My best advice is to build it with each class, rather than having one master version for the day. You don't want to steal the aha from your afternoon periods by showing them what the morning periods already figured out. Try using smaller sections you tape up for each class, or maybe even a digital version you can reset. Finally, wait to add the title to this poster until you develop it with your students. Let's talk word wall. Remember, the 2 key words you're going to be adding in this lesson are structure and function. In this lesson, we make 2 posters. The only poster that needs to be kept is the Our Bodies as a System poster. If you don't have wall space, try using the clothing rack and pants hangers like I suggested in lesson 1. The most important thing to remember for lesson 2 is that we are building the foundations of systems thinking. It's about that moment in the progress tracker where the students realize that movement is a team effort between the structures. When your students start grabbing their own biceps and saying, "Wait, my muscle is a structure pulling on my bone," you've won. You've got this, and I'll see you for lesson 3.